I believe moms are the experts in their households and have the power to heal their children and themselves. I am Lindsay Gramont, the Homemade Mommy, and to be honest, I haven't quite known what to do with this page. I have a lot of fans out there, so if you're here watching, thank you so much for being here. And if you're watching the replay on Facebook or on YouTube, I really appreciate you being here. And I've realized that one thing I do best is videos, but I haven't been doing a lot of those lately because I have a new baby. Well, he's not so new now, 15 months old. So I don't really have any excuses for not doing this, but I truly believe, and the reason why I started this page back in, oh my gosh, I think 2011 maybe. Wow, could it be 7 years already have gone by, flown by? Wow. The reason I started this page was that I have a huge passion for helping moms to heal their families, because I truly believe if we just listen to our intuition as mothers, then we can find the information that we need to heal our families and help ourselves in our health crises and really exit that phase and just be awesome at this whole health and wellness thing. So that is why I originally started this page. And so I want to get back to basics here, and I would love to hear from you on what you want to hear from me. But I was really put in my place a few weeks ago. I met someone who I didn't know. She knew who I was, but she actually didn't realize that my blog, homemademommy.net, included food recipes. And I about died, because that is what really brought me to this place, is food, real food. So if you are watching this and you didn't know that about me, I am sorry, because I have not been doing my job. And I want to get back to basics, because food is what brought me here. And I know that a lot of you watching know that I'm all about oils, and that's a huge part of my journey as well. But you can definitely check on my blog and see that it is all about real food. And that is what I started back in 2009 with my blog. Now, I know many people don't read blogs that much anymore, and there's tons of content out there on Facebook and everywhere else, on Instagram and YouTube, and I've got a ton of really old videos and new videos on YouTube, and I'm just kind of really into Instagram now, so you can follow me in those two places as well to get new snippets of my life and everything else. On Instagram at HMadeMommy, and also the same on YouTube at HMadeMommy as well. But this is the first in a series of videos that I am going to do about real food. Back to the basics, y'all. So I can remember distinctly back in a moment that I felt like I was drowning and I had spiked a massive fever. This was when my daughter, who is now 9, was 15 months old. Okay, which my son now is 15 months old. So this is why I was thinking about this today. So I never felt anything like it. It was like I was hit with a ton of bricks, and I was still nursing, and so it scared the living daylights out of me, because I had to make a decision. This was like a fever that was spiking up and down to 105, and I couldn't really do anything to make it go away. It just kept coming back, and I just felt like something was off. But my pride kept me from calling 911. I knew I was gonna have to leave my toddler with my husband, and I was not feeling very comfortable with that, but I did what probably any overwhelmed and crazy mom who's not thinking and isn't feeling well would do. I just got in my car and drove to the hospital, and turned out I had pneumonia. And I really felt like I was like 92 years old instead of, I think, 32 years old at the time. And it was bad. I was there for 5 nights in the hospital, and I was just scared about everything. But most of all, I just felt so sick that I really couldn't do anything. So I had worked myself into an illness that I couldn't get out of very quickly. And it was very scary. And I remember the chief pulmonologist at the hospital telling me that I needed to pull my daughter out of daycare, because at this point I was working a full-time job at IBM. And the reason why was because she was bringing so many illnesses into our house, and he was basically saying that my immune system could not handle the assault. And I know that you've probably been through the same thing. If you've had a kid in daycare, a toddler, a baby, they get pretty sick because there's lots of babies around, everybody's putting things in their mouth, and they're just bringing home stuff, junk after junk. Now, if you have a good immune system, you're probably able to handle that. But clearly I did not. And it really shocked me. It really shocked me because I was working full time and I just didn't even believe what I was hearing. This didn't make sense to me. I was taking all the medications that I was prescribed, and yet I still kept getting sick. And so I thought, at 32 years old, I don't need to be here in a hospital, and I also don't need to be on all these medications, and I certainly don't need to be the woman in a bubble who has to bring her child home and quit my job. Okay, so this didn't make sense to me. Really felt like this was not my path, and was lucky enough to just have this moment of clarity saying, okay, I obviously had spent years creating this health crisis for myself because of whatever the reasons, and I had to figure out why. And that is really how this page started, this community started, because I was figuring out why. And I was experimenting with a lot of recipes, and I was doing it while working a full-time job and taking care of a toddler, and I needed a place to share what I was doing, and also to meet other people who cared about the same things and who were learning the same things as I was. And really, I think today things are so different. There are so many options out there for, and so much more information out there, probably due to bloggers like me and others that I have loved, that I found at the time. But I was a busy corporate executive, a busy mom and wife. This wasn't just a piddly job that I had. I traveled a couple times a month, and I really had no business trying to cook homemade food all the time. And my friends were shocked, and my family was like, what are you doing? You don't have time to be doing this. But I just became fascinated with nutrition. And the more I made my own food, the better I felt. And the better my family felt. And we weren't getting as sick as often. And it was just fascinating to me. And I just felt tugged and driven and pulled to learn more. And for me, it was just a whole new world. And I knew somewhat about healthy eating. We all think we know what healthy eating is. But over the next series of videos, I am going to explain what my version of healthy eating is, because I think there's so much out there that uses that word that it almost becomes meaningless. And so I want to explain my philosophy a little bit better and what worked for me. And I just want to say that cutting vegetables during conference calls was the regular for me, and it was odd times of the day whenever I could get things done, and I got really good at making real unprocessed food quickly and easily because I just didn't have a ton of time. So I really learned about eating weird things like cutting up cabbage and mashing it with salt and putting it in a jar and setting it on my counter and letting it go gross, and that actually the grossness is what makes it so awesome for my stomach and how much I needed that. I learned that my stomach and what I ate had a lot to do with my immune system and my health, and it really I didn't expect to learn all these things. But it was really an awesome process. So all of the recipes on my blog follow this philosophy and approach. And if you just go to Real Food Recipes, you'll see I've got pretty much everything that we normally make in my house for dinner. I keep things super simple. There's not a lot of fancy ingredients. It's just real good, real food. And I'll explain, exactly what I think that is in a future video. But I didn't expect anyone in my house, my husband, my daughter, to really eat like I was at the time. But I think like anything that you do with your family, in front of your family, especially in front of a toddler, they just kind of model what you do, right? And, you know, my husband was just happy I was putting food in front of him. And I think actually he was very happy that it was the kind of food I was making. But, you know, chicken soup is good for the soul, right? So I started making, freezing, and eating that too. And it did so much to heal my body. And it was warm and soothing, and it melted my stress. And it really did change a lot of who I was. In doing all this cooking, I needed a place to experiment and write about my journey, and that's what my blog was for me then. I logged what I was eating for an entire year, what I fed my daughter and what I made and cooked in our home. So you can see, if you go way back on my blog to like the hidden depths of the archives, you can find an entire year of my food logs. Seriously, it's like how this started. I literally just wrote every day what I gave my daughter at daycare and what I was eating. And yeah, I know, right? But it helped me a lot. And I didn't know anything about blogging, and those posts are not formatted and there's no pretty pictures. But it's interesting all the less. And so many people were telling me that they were following that and that they were so helped by that because it was the daily activity of actually eating this way. It wasn't the pretty picture, the perfect, you know, food item, and I am not a photographer, so that is not what you're gonna find. And I've often thought about, you know, going through a rebrand and hiring a photographer and taking photos, but that's just not me. So don't worry, I'm not perfect, and I have to do things fast because that's just how I roll, but it has to be good. So I didn't really even take pictures of what I was making to begin with. I just posted the recipes, but the response was great, and I gained a lot of followers because it wasn't so perfect. And there's a lot of food bloggers out there now, and they do a lot of things perfectly, but that is just not me. So I had worked for many packaged food and big pharmaceutical companies in my consulting role and just throughout my 15-year corporate career. And so I learned things about food that really helped me to understand the industry, food and pharmaceutical drugs, and it really influenced where I was headed as well. I knew that there were parts of the food story that frankly made me ill. Literally. And I really was feeling better by changing my diet. And I realized it's not just about the drugs that we can take. It is a lot of what we put into our bodies and on our bodies. And I became very passionate about that. But what really gets me going, what truly gets me going, is seeing children eat real food. So I don't know about you, but I know that every child can eat things other than pasta and grilled cheese and sandwiches and pizza and nuggets. I know that they can. And I know that kids can eat more than goldfish and other snacks. And that this is a huge passion of mine, to be able to help moms learn how to cook again and know that their kids can eat real food. So if you want to learn about that, then you can continue to follow this page. I am not seeing the comments come in right now. Sometimes Facebook doesn't show them, but comment, say hello even if you're watching the replay, whether you're seeing this on YouTube or Facebook. And you can also follow me on Instagram at HMadeMommy, and if you check out my stories on there, then you can get little snippets of my cooking and other DIY throughout the day. But I know, because I had asthma and allergies and other conditions that were caused by eating sugar and other processed foods, that that kids really can eat other things and can thrive from it. So whatever the term is that you want to label it, I don't care. But for me, it's just real good food. The other foods are addictive, and I really saw that as part of the job that I was doing. And a lot of these companies, they engineer the food to be addictive, and kids are very susceptible to that. And I just think no matter how busy you are, or how much money you have or don't have, that you are your children's mom. You are their mom. God gave you this child, and because of that, you are the perfect mom for them. And as a mom, you have the power. You are the expert in your home, and you have the power to help your child. No matter where you are at right now, just watching this video, just being here on this page and liking this page, allows you the freedom to be able to be the expert and the best person to heal your children and help them to eat real food, and to help your husband, to help your wife, whoever it is that you need to help yourself. You have the power to do that. And I believe in you, and I will hold that belief for you, and I will support you, and I have recipes for you. I have a book for you. I have 2 books for you. I have a book for you that teaches you about techniques on how to cook, and I have a book that teaches you about how to do real food fast. And this was a book that I wrote before the Instant Pot. So now that you have that book and the Instant Pot, it's like double fast, all right? But I know that you have the power to heal yourself and your family with food and other holistic remedies. You don't have to be a slave to it all. I am not. And you just have to know that how you're feeling right now is not how you're going to feel a year from now when you really start to do this, because you are going to feel so much better, and it's going to become that much easier. And I have to tell you, these days there are so many real food option things that you can buy, and you don't even have to make yourself. I sometimes feel like a lot of the stuff I made before, I can't even believe I made them, because you can find so many great options now today. Of course, you're going to pay for it. But it's a lot cheaper if you make it yourself. But there is that option. But you don't have to be worried about the next time that you're going to have to take off work because of a sick kid, or you are sick, because the information is out there, and all you have to do is feel empowered to find it, to do it, and to live it. So many before you have done it, including me, and I know that you can do it too. So as often is the case when you start down a new path, you have no idea where the path is going to lead you, but something moves you in the right direction, and you just have to take one step at a time. So over the years, I have learned more and more, and this has truly been a 20-year journey for me. And through that process, I've helped more and more people. I had someone come up to me. I was in Hawaii last week for an amazing trip that I earned, and someone came up to me that I didn't even know and said that she'd been following my blog for years, and that she was so thankful to me because a friend of hers, she had shared my blog with her friend, and her friend had healed her MS because of the ideas and recipes that I shared on my blog. So, I mean, wow. Like, that floored me. I didn't even know how to respond to her. I don't know how to respond to the thankful emails and messages and responses that I get, but all I can do is just share more of it. And so I hope that these videos will be helpful for somebody I know, even if just one person watches them and it helps them, and that's enough for me. So I just told people what I was doing, and literally was just looking for other people like me, because I didn't know anyone who really cared this much about what they were putting in and on their body like I did. But I know that you are the best mom for your kids, that God made you their mom for a reason, and that you are worthy of their love and their adoration, and that to love them is to help to nourish their bodies in the best way possible. You are fully capable of helping everyone in your home to be healthy and strong. and you totally know what to do, and I believe in you, and I just want you to stand in that power as a mom and take care of the little things right in front of you, which are your children. So that's all for now. Again, you can catch more of these videos here. I'm gonna upload them to YouTube as well. Again, my YouTube channel is www.youtube.com/hmademommy. Please share this video with others. As I said, this page on Facebook has been really great over the years, but lately not a lot of my posts have been seen, so I haven't been posting as much, but there's so many people on here, and I know that we can reach a lot of people with this message and with what I have to tell you and share with you about real food. So please share this video, and you can also follow me on Instagram at hmademommy. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Bye-bye.